We are pleased that the grade 1 and grade 8 online application came, and we concluded that process without any major glitches. We are also pleased to report that the 2020 online admissions in Gauteng for grade 1 and 8 have reached the stage where we need to place learners after we've received the necessary applications. To date, a total of 123,000 placement offers were released to parents. Of these, 47,000 applications have been accepted already, and we therefore urge other parents to move with speed to accept the remaining places. Our records show that 75,000 applicants received offers but have not accepted them. We want to urge parents to move with speed to accept this application. Failure to do so will lead us to give this placement to another round of applicants who are standby purely because they could not receive the SMS of placement because of the capacity of the schools that they have applied for. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the HOD and the team. This has been a difficult online process, taking into consideration the COVID regulations that you need to adhere to. But I also want to thank all the parents that have embraced this form of admissions because it has assisted us to resolve all the backlogs that we normally face during this period. Those that have not made any form of an application for grade 1 and grade 8, they have to wait until the beginning of January to check if we have availability within our schools for them to get late application forms. Once more, we want to thank our IT team for the brilliant work they've done, and also thank our sister department, the Department of eGov, for the support that they've provided during this process. In conclusion, I also want to take this opportunity to urge our communities, especially those that organize service delivery, protests, or activities, to refrain from engaging in these activities or to refrain from stopping learners from going to school to write examinations. We work together with the police and other law enforcement agencies to monitor activities in our province to ensure that learners are not disadvantaged by protests that are beyond their control, thus missing the necessary time to write the examinations. We also urge the transport providers to treat this period as a crucial period for our children and ensure that there's no disruption of public transport during this period. We are quite aware that ESCOM has announced load shedding stage 2, and we've already made the necessary arrangements so that our schools are not affected by this announcement. I wish all our learners well, and I hope that Gauteng will come on top. Thank you so much, Steve. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you very much, MEC. Can we then take questions? Let's start here. Tsego, I can't see. Okay, let's take you for now.
Thank you. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, MEC HOD. Tsego from Newsroom Africa. I'd just like to know what happens with the parents that have not received SMSs as yet. They went through the online placement, but they have not received the SMSs, and some of them are seemingly quite concerned about what then happens next. If you can please just give us clarity on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tsego. I don't see hands. I think we can take that. Let me see.
So as I've indicated, we've got 75,000 parents that have not accepted the placement. And we've got also other parents that have not received the SMSs because our schools are already full. So failure of the 75,000 to accept, then we'll go to those that are still on or are still waiting. The deadline for parents to get the final SMS is the 30th of November. So by the 30th of November, if you have not received an SMS, it means that you have missed out. And the department then will make contact with you to get the necessary placement. That is why we are urging the 75,000 odd parents to say, you can't make an application. When we respond, you keep quiet. And we'll give you a deadline to respond. And if you don't respond, you'll forfeit your position, and we'll take the next parent that is willing to accept that position. But we are quite aware that some parents are double dipping of some sort. They wanted school X, they got school Y. So they still remain hopeful that school X will be available. That is why they are not taking school Y. And on the basis of that, we'll communicate with those parents to indicate that they need to move with speed to accept the placement that we have. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you very much, MEC. I didn't receive anything online, and I don't see any hand here. Yeah.
One more, please, Steve.
Hello?
One more from my side.
Okay.
Sorry. If at the end of the process, MEC, the parents still don't have an SMS or space for their children, what then happens? Do they wait for next year to receive the late applications? And I've got a few more, sorry.
Maybe shoot with no intention to kill so that we can respond at once.
All right. And to what extent then has the children from private schools been given an opportunity to enroll in the public schools through this particular system? I remember you did say, I think it was in the second phase, that they were able to enroll as well, the learners from private schools. And then, yeah, there's also been a bit of complaints from some of parents from the private schools about discrimination because of their children going to private schools and they aren't able to then apply at a certain time for the online system for the public schools. Thank you.
Well, thanks. Let me start with that one. We didn't discriminate against any other person. What we did is that learners move from grade to grade naturally. You move from grade 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 6 to 7. So there was no exception here. Those that were in grade 7, we allowed them to move to grade 8, that are in the public education system, because you can't not accommodate them. They're already in the public education system. Those in the private education system, they chose to be in the private education system. And if they want to come back, if there's availability, we made that availability to them. And the numbers were not that much, I remember, that applied. So they will be accommodated. Those that have applied from the private or independent schools that wants to come to the public education system, they will be accommodated. And to us, it's a vote of confidence to the public education system, and therefore will not discriminate against them. I know I've received endless letters, threats of court challenges as well from those parents that believe that we are discriminating against them. Reality is that we are not discriminating against any other person. We have learners that move from grade 9 to 10, 10 to 11 in the public education system. That's what we've done here. And if anyone wants to come into public education system, we've given them an opportunity, and they made an application. And I can assure you, the numbers were not that huge. On the basis of that, they will all be accommodated. Obviously, not at the school that they've applied, if that school is full. I think it's very important that we clarify that. The second point that I want to clarify is that those that have applied on time and they met the deadline, even if you have not received an SMS, your child will be placed, because we gave everyone an opportunity to choose 5 schools. The only limitation is that a parent chooses 5 schools. When we place the learner in one of the chosen 5, the parent does not want to accept. But it's you that chose those 5 schools. So I want to urge parents to say the placement we've given you is based on your own application. It's not us that applied, it's you that made that application. And on the basis of that application, we placed your child. And that's the reason why we asked you to choose 5 schools. But where we stand, I think everyone that have applied, they will be placed. Come the 30th of November, it does not mean if you have not received an SMS, your child will not be placed. The only limitation that your child might be placed outside the area that you stay on the basis of a shortage of space in the school that you've chosen. But we will choose amongst the 5 schools that you gave us, and your child will go to school. Ushap Tsiro? Okay. Steve Bashap? Okay. Valerie Duke.
Thank you. This one. The inquiries from Gail Gifford, Times Life. They say they have received a statement from, a joint statement from AfriForum. It doesn't have our details on it. So they want to understand whether is it a joint statement or it's an AfriForum statement.
Is it admissions or online?
No, it's not. Okay. And then there's one element that we want to put an emphasis on, because I don't see any other questions, so I'll just need to emphasize on this one, that you may now report any suspected irregularity on exams. There's a WhatsApp line that we've created, the 069 335 2818. 069 335 2818. We will not share your details. We'll just handle that information confidentially. So we request that you submit any irregularity on that platform. Thanks, MEC.
Thank you so much, Steve. I was reluctant to respond to this AfriForum thing, but let me respond to it. Let me give context or background. What happened is that I was addressing a media conference, and I got a question from journalists about my safety. And I indicated that indeed there were people that were following me, following my children, and also monitoring where I stay. And I indicated that I've opened various cases with the police, and the police had those cases. On the basis of that, AfriForum filed some papers saying that my statement indicated that they were the culprit, because it's common knowledge that they're having some run-ins with me. They sent me documents, and we responded to them to indicate that we can go to court. And when we arrived in court, they requested court that this matter be mediated. I mean, if people say they take you to court, when you arrive in court, they say, no, let's have a mediation process. There's nothing wrong. We went to that mediation process. It is common knowledge that the far right wing or racist organization in this country, they've identified me as a tool to fundraise, a tool to attack, and a tool to utilize for votes, or a tool to demonstrate that they can take people that are not agreeing with them head on. It's common knowledge that I stand for non-racialism and I can't tolerate racism. It's common knowledge that I can't tolerate a racist place called Orania, where they have their own flag outside the flag of our country, they have their own currency, and they have their own curriculum. And on the basis of that, racist formations have identified me as a person that wants to eliminate that particular place. And they've unleashed various accusations against me. So during the mediation process, this organization called AfriForum broke rank to say they are committing to talk. If you read the full joint statement, they are committing to talk, they are committing to work with me peacefully, and therefore there was no need for me to doubt their bona fides. I accepted their word, and on the basis of that, a win-win joint statement was agreed upon that we should all work for peace. I will never apologize to racists. Racists are mindless and useless. And if there's any racist formation that they will think I'll bow to them, they are wrong. I'll never do that. There is no room for racism, and we must not allow racism in our country. A place called Orania, that wants whites only, must not be tolerated in a truly non-racial South Africa. We would have betrayed our commitment to non-racialism if we allowed that place to prosper or to allow that place to discriminate against fellow South Africans. There must be no-go area in our country. As much as we stood firm against those that want to drive whites to the sea, we will stand firm against those that think a white-only area should be tolerated. We know what Bantustans have created in this country. We can't allow new Bantustans under the disguise of a cultural village. That is why organizations like AfriForum have filed papers to allow a referendum for Western Cape to be a stand-alone country, purely because they've tasted victory with Orania. So I've never and I will never apologize to racists. What I've done, I've accepted the weight of AfriForum, that they will not attack my family, they will not exercise violence in our differences. And for that, I've accepted it. Thanks, Steve.
Okay, thanks very much, MEC. So I understand you have a final question. Please.
Thank you, Steve. From MEC, you say that you are prepared for the upcoming exams from Wednesday, but we do understand that the leak of question papers started in Gauteng, if I'm not mistaken. What has the department done to make sure that this does not happen again? And where are you in that particular investigation? And the company that had been contracted to do the work, have you used the same company this year once again? Those are my final questions, I promise. Thank you.
Keep your promise. Well, it's not true that the leak started in Gauteng. And you know, exams are conducted by national department. We are just implementers. So it's a national exam. So all the investigations were conducted by national. I know they solicited the assistance of the NPA and other law enforcement agencies. So we obviously were amongst those provinces where there was a leak last year, and we put the necessary steps to avoid that. Even last year's exams, in the middle of the exams, we made drastic changes when we became aware that there were limitations and gaps with the people that were assisting us with the program. Whether those service providers are still being used this year, I think the HOD will know. I will know that part. HOD, do you want to respond to that?
Thank you very much, Tshepo, for that. Just to confirm that there was only to the extent that there would have been a leak that we detected in Gauteng and we were able to catch it last year. It was not widespread, that's one. But secondly, we were able to identify the person, but it was also found that that paper had actually not spread. So that's the one part. But as in terms of what arrangements have we done this year, without elaborating and giving you the extent, I can confirm that at every time there is a just-in-time printing of papers. Two, that we have improved on the level of security that associates with that, both at person level, but even at technology level. Because remember, one of the things that had been picked up in the past was that while we use technology for printing and all of that, there had been an indication that there could be risks. We have elevated that. And as a result of that, you may know that both the DBE and Umalusi have actually given Gauteng approval that we can conduct examinations. Until any department, provincial department, is given approval by the DBE and Umalusi, you may not be able to do that. So we are quite satisfied that we have been given approval to carry on with the printing. We have been given the approval to continue with the examination. So on that basis, we are quite satisfied that the standards that we have put both at security level and otherwise are quite satisfactory.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we don't have any other question to attend to. This brings us to the end of the media briefing. Thanks very much.